Welcome, welcome. This is the first on the RoadCast audio talk. I've been wanting to do this for such a long time because I have so many amazing friends and colleagues that do sound for bands, all kinds of genres in all over the world, and it's so many interesting people and stories that I just want to share on our channel. And my first guest in the On the RoadCast audio talk is my friend Joey Diehl, who is currently on tour with Benson Boone and has so much experience and so many amazing ideas and is just great at what he does. And I'm so excited for you to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I just mentioned you've been touring for a long time, and I always say you do a lot of revolutionary things because I think your approach to doing sound is really amazing. You don't just turn up faders, you really think hard of what you do, and there's so many things that you told me in our many gear talks and mixing talks that we had that were so impressive. How did you start out doing sound? Maybe let's start here.
Um, uh, it's a classic story of I was a guitar player in a band, like when I was really young, and um, I just at some point I was more interested in what the other guy was doing. I was more interested in like the sounds. Actually, you know what it was is I would sit in my room. I was a gearhead. I've always been a gearhead, even with guitar stuff in the beginning, and I would learn all these songs and like listen to records and like work on these tones in my room and have this amp and buy better amps and like really dive in, and I would do all this work and I'd be like, this sounds incredible, like it's gonna be perfect, all these things. And then I go play a show and be like, this sounds bad. Like what happens? And realizing that like me making this tone on an amp was like 25 to 30% of what's was the full product, and how much power the person over there had over what I was doing. And I started just being more interested in that and being like, okay, I want to learn that now. And that's just how it went. I never stopped.
I like you saying how much power the person over there has, because I do think that people, especially young musicians who start out, they underestimate the value of a good front of house engineer. Not to toot our own horns, but having someone who knows the music, knows the sounds, and knows how to um, amplify them or mix them the right way for to get the people to hear what the band wants them to hear. You know, that's such an important thing.
Yeah. No, it is hard too. I always wonder, there are a lot of great engineers and system engineers and a bunch of people that do audio that like don't play music, but it's always because I don't think understanding music, I'm sure, is much easier if you played it to begin with. But I've heard people who've never touched an instrument in life like do really good things. But I've also heard people who play music their entire life and put something in the PA, and I'm like, that's not it, man. Like there's a grasp there. It's like it's just an understanding. But I'm sure, yeah, it's mostly, I think it's about music now. Like the technology's gone so far that obviously you have to be an IT guy on some of these gigs to like do these gigs now, but it's really coming down to like, no, everything is good. Like you're not really fighting much. Everything is so good that now it's got to be up to you. Are you good at music? That's
It's it's the little things that you
Mhm.
do because everything's so advanced already. And talking about the little things that you do, you told me, for example, you use a vocal method on your current gig that I've
Yeah.
never heard someone doing it that way, but it makes so much sense. It keeps the noise level low. It gives you so much like vocal presence and
Mhm.
so much yeah, opportunity to mix the vocal the way you want to without running into major issues that other people have, like feedback and stuff like that. So, do you want to elaborate for
Yeah,
a
sure.
second?
I actually I took this from Michael Brower. It's a Browerizer studio thing technique because he does like a multi-bus technique mixing technique thing that I was doing in a studio for a little bit after I learned it a couple years ago. And I just tried it live one time a while back, like I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and I realized that there was like a side effect that in the studio is annoying, but live is exactly what I needed. And so basically, the whole premise is if you take one sound and you double it, it goes up in volume, right? Well, if you quadruple it, how much volume does that go up by? Even though you didn't turn up the inputs at all, you just landed it multiple times and it got that much louder. So doing that with a vocal, you can like basically I didn't turn the gain or the input up at all, but I got so much more volume out of it. So that overall result was this much louder where I turned everything down that much to get back to the place I wanted to be at. So if I turn things down that much, I had that much more room when it's in front of a PA, or if I want to compress it more, if I want to do anything. I'm just giving myself more headroom. And it's just on the premise of like doubling dB, or doubling, sorry, doubling channels to get 3, 6, 9 dB more, whatever it is.
And you just run that through a bus system on your console.
Yeah, that's where it gets complicated. I've done a lot of experimenting and I've done a lot of things, and I'm the Broward technique technically has multiple compressors because they all have different tonal qualities and like different things. And not to get like super nerd into it, but this all depends on the power correlation essentially, and you get there's two formulas that you can kind of go after, but it depends on if it's uncorrelated noise or correlated amplitude, and so it's like if the noises are slightly separate, they don't correlate very well. If the amplitudes are very similar, they do correlate very well. So as you're getting more volume, you're not actually getting that much more noise. And so the whole noise floor to signal to noise ratio is going down and down and down as you keep doubling, doubling, doubling. And so I can essentially give myself, like I said, 10 dB of headroom on the vocal out of nowhere just because I've done so much doubling up. But since I'm doing the Broward technique and I have different compressors, I can now get the effect of like slightly compressing with each one of them and getting the tone I want. And so when it combines, it just sounds really smooth, really well compressed, like a record. But I'm not smashing anything, right? So it's just that's something I've been doing for a while. Which on the gig I'm on now, this last tour that we did, he was in front of the PA 95% of the show, which I've never had somebody in front of the PA for that long, but like this saved me because I didn't have to hack it. I didn't have to like do all this crazy stuff to like I was just like, here's a normal vocal for me, basically.
You're on the fader and, just like,
No, yeah, I wasn't. I could.
sure everyone did that before. You
Oh,
just
yeah.
kind of save yourself the trouble.
I know. Well, you have to. You have to just sit there and like baby it and feel like, oh, I'm right on the edge, right on the edge the whole time. And I've done that a lot on times. I've done it a lot of times on gigs, and it's scary, like to be, in an arena and you're like, I'm on the verge of explode, like it's gonna explode at any second now. And like that's 90 minutes of stress. Like, no, but no, this really helped me with this, and it helped me more with quiet singers, which my artist now is not very quiet, but I've had quiet singers before. And people have delicate moments and stuff like that, and it really, really helps me with that stuff. So like, this is it's cool. Yeah, I like it. I don't even know what to call it. I've been doing it for a while, and it's a weird correlating. I call it power correlation. Just something, just the thing I've been doing for a long time.
Yeah, super interesting, and I'm definitely gonna try that in the future. I work with a lot of very loud singers, but they love to go in front of PAs, so definitely something I want to try. Do you still get nervous when you're on big gigs like that? As you said, it's like arenas, and you're like, wow, this is like a couple thousand people, 10,000 people, and you have everything under your hands.
Hmm. No, I actually went through something last year. I did so many shows, and so yes, the answer is yes. I still get nervous, and I stopped getting nervous, and I didn't like that. It's because I did so many shows or the same thing so many times, and I was like so many reps that um, it's not that I started to get like I don't know. It's not. I wasn't like
A
it's not
burnout?
about it. Yeah. Well, yeah. It just like uh, I started to get really desensitized to the whole like day basically because you've done it so many times. But I realized, I thought it was comfort at first to be like, oh, it's experience, it's comfort. Like we've done this so, it's again and again, we got it, it's good. And I realized I didn't like that. I don't like not being nervous. I think when I'm nervous, I pay attention and it draws my mind to what I need to be doing. And when I get comfort, it feels a little bit like complacency. Like I want to have comfort like in my life at home, things are comfortable. But when it comes to this specific type of work, I don't really want to be comfortable. I don't think like a firefighter would be like comfortable. I'm not comparing myself to a firefighter, but like there's jobs where I feel, yeah, I know, right? I'm saving lives. I'm not saving lives, but I feel like there's a lot of jobs where like you don't want to be comfortable. Like you want to be like locked in. You want to be like really noticing everything that's happening and like not just being like, oh, I'm good now and just let it go by. Like this is,
Absolutely.
yeah, right. You've ever been like scared to be like just not paying attention and something just like blows up. You know, somebody unplugs something or something happens, you miss a cue and it's like detrimental and it's like, no, I don't want to do that. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah,
I absolutely feel that.
well, yeah, no, and so like I don't love getting nervous, but I need to get nervous. I mean, I'm sure in a club I would be nervous, in an arena I'd be nervous, in a stadium I'd be nervous, for broadcast I'd be nervous. Like it's maybe different types of nerve, but like I want to be very attentive and like pay attention, you
You
know.
even had, I mean, just to give an example of the size of show you do, you had Brian May
Hmm.
feature on the show, and you had his guitar signals on your board, and you were the one mixing this for thousands and thousands of people. That is something really special. Do you have like certain things that you're like, I'll never forget that? This is like,
It's funny you say Brian May, Sir Brian May. I was just going through my photos earlier because I was like, just clean up my phone because I was on a long ride. I need something to do. And I have a picture of when we did Coachella last year. Um, he played with us, but he insisted on coming into the mix room that I was in on the side and being like, "Hey, I want to check what's going on and just make sure it all sounds good to me and everything," which is totally fine. Which it's been fine my whole life, but it's different when Sir Brian May walks in, sits down in your chair, and goes, "All right, play it." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "All right, yeah, press play." And I'm just looking over and I'm like, "I hope he likes it. Like this is gonna hurt my ego really hard if he goes, nah." So no, but we had a great time, and people like took pictures because it's basically just him sitting at my desk with me, and I was just like looking at him, and I was like, "Yeah, so guitar, it's loud. I don't know what to say. I don't have the words. Like this is crazy." Um, and he was with me for like 20, 30 minutes. We talked about a lot of stuff, harmonics. He's an astrophysicist. So we started diving into stuff and I was like, this is one of the coolest moments of my life. Like, anyway, that's definitely that with Brian May was definitely a highlight.
I
Yeah.
can absolutely understand. That's so cool. Is there any negative moments that where you like, I mean, everyone has those shows where things just go wrong. Things are out of your hands and you stand there and you're so powerless in that situation. Do you have any like
Oh, yeah.
that?
Oh, I have so many of those. I love how people are like, well, you said at the very beginning, you're very kind. You're like, oh yeah, these things, and I have a lot of experience, and I've been doing this for a long time. And I'm like, I have a lot of mess ups. Like I don't want to say that word. I mess up a lot. Like, um, and I think there's a type of personality. Like I love my management, my bosses now, and everybody, and the art. A lot of the artists, not just this one, but that I've worked for, have been totally cool. I've done some huge mess ups, and artists have looked at me and been like, "You learned from that, right?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Okay, great, we're good." And I'm like, "Amazing." I think I'm who I am because those artists have treated me like they've treated. Like legitimately, that's exactly how my life has gone. I've done some wild ones. The last one, because I'm in Dublin right now, and the last time I was at this arena, my console, my whole system, it was like the way that my console talks to the thing that's outputting to the PA just stopped working. It froze, not froze, but something dropped, and it's something that I couldn't fix unless I just restarted. In the moment, I had no idea what to do unless I just restarted. But it was at this arena, and I literally was sitting at the console, and it dropped, and this was our second show in Europe, so we have a 911, like a backup, like ready to go from the monitor desk. He has like a put together front of house mix that's like he doesn't touch it or anything, but it's like there, like just in case you need a get out of jail free card. And we had just gotten to Europe and we just re-prepped the rig and everything. We didn't realize we didn't plug that back in when we came over here because in the States we checked it, but we never used it, but we checked it. And this is the first time we needed to press the button to use it. So my console freezes, it drops the sound. For about 5 seconds, I go, can I fix this? Can I fix this? I go, oh crap, no, I don't know what's even going on, right? So I look over at my system engineer and I go, press the 911 button. And he hits it and nothing happens. And we both go, oh my God, like we forgot to plug it in. Like, so we're just dead in the water. We have nothing. And I'm just like, and I can't, and I'm like looking around my desk and I'm like, the problem I find is when everything looks like it's working, that's the worst. I would love for something to just blow up and be like, oh, it's that. Okay. Like we know it's that now. It's the worst when you look at everything and it all looks perfect and you're like, crap, I have no idea what to look for now. And that's what happened. And to be perfectly honest, I didn't fix anything. I just waited 3 minutes while I was trying to figure it out and it just started working. And I was like, okay, sign from above. Like, sure, let's just keep going.
So you had 3 minutes of silence.
Oh, it was lifetime.
Oh wow, that's scary,
Yeah.
and it's a lesson learned, but also one that I'd love to not have ever learned because it's
Yeah.
you just stand there and I mean I've had power outages and stuff, but then you know it's not you.
Yeah.
But
That's
if it's your equipment, if it's you standing at that desk and the desk drops, you're like, ah, what
well,
now?
because you're the person, like who else is gonna fix that right now but you? So
And you
like,
know that everyone always looks on stage, or like looks to the stage and straightforward and never pays attention to you at front of house, but that's the moment where everyone turns around and you're like,
so funny.
yay.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I actually said that to somebody a while ago, months ago. I was like, I don't think anybody ever really understands the feeling of having like 12, 15,000 people all simultaneously look at you for not a good reason. That's a different, like, and I know you know what I'm talking about, but like, it's such a different thing that like is such a small, like, niche of a feeling that like most people will never understand. It's like, having people look at you to be like with admiration and be like, oh, we're here, this is fun, like we're doing this. Have people, so many people look at you at the same time and go, what the fuck? Like, oh, I said the F word. Um,
Like basically, you know it's been a good show when no one approaches you
yeah,
and no one talks to you ever. But when they start coming over and saying something, you're
yikes.
like, oh no. I'm usually like I pack up. I'm like, don't look at me after a show. I'm I'm still like, and I'm so nervous every single time I mix a show, no matter how big it is. And I'm like, don't look at me. I'm not here. I'm invisible because I just don't want anyone to come and say something mean to me because I somehow always expected to be mean feedback. A lot of times
No,
it's nice things, but I'm like, don't. We're not on stage for a reason. We don't
right.
want to be
Well,
like
yeah.
that.
No, I don't want to be center of attention. No, that's not my thing.
But and that's very fitting question to what we just said because not wanting to be like center of attention, not wanting to be like approached by people who are in the room. You were not in the room. You were mixing front of house, not in the room for your last tour, which is also something that's almost unheard of. You know, like that's how did that happen and how did it go?
The designers, that's just something designers wanted to have happen. And maybe I shouldn't have said yes so quickly and like so casually. I was like, yeah, sure, that'd be great. That was hard. The It just took a lot of trust in my system engineering. It took a lot of conversation, a lot of back and forth, a lot of trial and error, a lot of like figuring things out. We might have done too many new things at once, where I had a new console, we had a new show, we had a new PA, we had a new experience of mixing outside of the room, and it was like, well, it's like, what do we fall back on? All of it's new. Every part of this is new. Like, we're just figuring this out. So it was good. And the thing was, is there was only a couple shows that I was in the room, and one of them happened to be Dublin, where my console died, or just where I had the issue. And we talked about it afterwards. It's like we're lucky that I was in the room, that everybody could see me. We could all like kind of work on this together, not together, but like we knew what was happening. If I had been in my side room and this had happened and I was just on my own, like imagine like I'm just freaking out. I'm in the room, be like, "What's going on? I'm trying to fix this." Like, and it
Yeah,
just
in your radio, like
you
what
know,
the
just feel like So I just yeah, mixing outside the room was a different experience. It just felt like a like I was mixing broadcast all the time. It just felt like I got really good at just just put together a mix, make it sound like music. Hopefully, and we'll work on how the translation works out. But like it made me focus so much more on literal music and just how things go together, and not worrying too much about the science of it in the room,
Did
and
you do
letting
most of
someone
it
else.
on headphones, or did you have like you probably had like a mini PA or something?
I started out with a lot more options, but I realized that I had these monitors from third year, the dual sixes that are just insane, and I started to swear by them, and I would pretty much only listen to them the whole time. I had a set of Avatones too, but that was more for checking stuff. But and then some days where I was in a situation where it just was not going to sound good listening to anything out loud, I would use the Slate VSX headphones, and they were good. They were really really good. It just is a little harder to tell certain things on that than it is to tell them on real monitors when air is moving, just because I want to know how it correlates to what's happening out there. But so yeah, I stuck to two ways of listening essentially. But yeah, it was difficult. It was a challenge, and
A lot of running back and forth. I would assume if you do a virtual sound check, you wouldn't go in the room and listen to it on the PA either.
I didn't have time. No, we didn't. This was like in Europe. We were like 30 something trucks. I mean, our PA didn't get put up in the air till like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, like right before the band walked on, because everything else took that long. So like I if I took a lot of time, I was only taken away from my system engineer getting a better result. So I literally was like, you know what, man, you take all the time you need to make to. If you think that this PA sounds really good in this room, like as best as you can get it, I'll have a better result. So there's some times where I would walk out there if I was close and like just hear what was going on, but like I was really following what he told me to do. And he's my system engineer, Alex, is not only is he just insane. We're both just like top level nerds. He's the only person in my entire life that I will not go. I will. He will tune a PA, and I'll be like, "Yep, put music into it." I won't even retune. I won't listen to anything because he's he's so much better than I am, which I am. I feel like I'm such a dick about it. I'm so meticulous about so many things that, but when I hear what he does, I go, oh yeah, that's better. And I just don't even question it. I just put it in. And if he says, hey, you need more kick, I'm like, cool, more kick. I got it. All right. And we had a shared notes, during the show. I would keep it up, and it was wireless or over Wi-Fi. So if he had a note for each song, it would just pop up and I'd be like, cool, there you go. Like do that thing. And I would just watch it the whole time. And it got to a point during the tour, I would see no notes like for 100 minutes of music, whatever. They're just my phone would just not move the whole time, and I'm like, okay, like we're getting to a good place. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And that also shows how important a good crew and a good group of people around you is that have the same, let's say on a personal level, same humor, and they're just like friends and family to you on tour, but also who professionally you can work with and you can produce a good product in what you do.
Oh, isn't it the most important? You're choosing roommates, like, and I know like at least I think at the top level you get a little bit more separation because you get like hotel rooms every day and a bunch of stuff.
I share rooms with the stinky guys all the
Yeah,
time. Not
exactly.
always the stink though. Sometimes I do maybe, but
Yeah, I know. You start to like really realize things about yourself. You're like, oh shit, it's my feet. No, I've done band tours, and I miss that. Like, there was a lot of camaraderie in like band tours, and like the metal shows I used to do back in the day, and a bunch of stuff like that. Where it's like, no, we were all in just like one room, and we really had to like each other, and it was just a different level of family. Like,
would you ever go back to do a van tour? And if so, what artist would it be? Like, is there anyone you'd be like, I'll hop in a van with you?
I don't know. There's so many artists. I like good music. So if it can be any genre as long as like, dude, you're really good at this. I just want to listen to you. So like, yeah, I mean, could I do it for a living? Probably not because I have to pay my mortgage. But um, I would if there was like time in between, like 3 or 4 months where like I could just stay home, and someone was like, "You want to go on in a van for 2 weeks?" I'd be like, "You know what? Yeah, I do actually want to do that. Like that's super cool. I want to go back to this. I want to just no console, just walk into whatever there is every day and just be like, make this work." And be like, "Yeah, this is super." I think you learn more like that. I think you really understand a lot of stuff because of that. You know?
I always say that. I mean, it's also kind of self-defense because people are like, oh, you always like, I always post about my console and how I love working on it, and everyone knows I'm a D-Live person and I love it. But then I just have tours where I can't bring it and I can't rent it and there's no budget or anything, and then I go from console to console, and then I always realize this is cool too. I am learning, I'm understanding, it just like it makes me a better engineer. So sometimes that's not a bad thing to do.
No, I don't think it's bad. I think people need to do it. There's a ton of things you can learn how another console thinks about, or this company thought about how this should happen or whatever, and you just start learning about all of it, everything, every console, every type, everything that people programmed, and being like, oh, this is smart, this isn't smart, I don't like this, I love this. And so I think it makes you a better engineer. I think people should do that.
Right, and it's also if you are fluent on different consoles, it's such a good conversation starter. If I see an engineer of a band I like or someone I think is cool or does a great job, I'll be like, "Oh, what do you work on?" You know, it's just like it's just such a networking thing, and we know that networking is the most important thing in our business, or one of the most important things, right?
It's like you would think it's, I don't know, you would love for it not to be, but it's definitely the most. It's being a good hang is 80% of the gig, 90% of the gig.
Right.
Like
That's why people hire us mainly, I guess.
well, and stinky feet. So
And stinky feet, and because we maybe know what we're doing. Um, after all that gear talk, um, do you have a favorite piece of gear that you're like, I'll always bring it no matter what? Could be a
mm,
headphone, could be a piece of outboard gear, something you're like, I don't want to do any shows without this.
huh. I have no idea. Do I have a favorite piece of gear?
Because I know you have so many, like,
I have, yeah, I have a problem. I buy. Yeah, no, it's not. I actually, I need to start telling. I've been telling people to stop encouraging it and being like, it's really cool. I'm like, don't tell me that. It's become like a problem. I have a lot of gear, and I love them all. That's why you're like, what's your favorite? And I'm like, I don't know. I just like I have favorite things for different things. Like I have a favorite thing for drums, favorite thing for band compression, a favorite thing for saturation, a favorite thing for like this, whatever. But like, I don't know if there's like a one size fits all thing. I do love my Bluey, the Blueface 1176.
I actually thought you were gonna say that because you mentioned it to me before a lot of
It's
times.
because I can't. There's nothing in the world that sounds like that Bluey. I swear to. I like nothing sounds like it. And the one I have is a copy of CLA's like custom Bluey, which is like this completely destroyed unit that he's like customized 9 times over because he's either broken it or like, and it's just been fixed so many times that it sounds so unique that Blackline went and made a copy of that. That Bluey, the copy of it is still just, it's so unique. There's nothing, and I didn't know how unique it was until I listened to it for a long time. But then I started doing one-offs where I started asking for outboard for one-offs, which is crazy. I never thought I would do that. But it's gotten to a point now where I'm like, hey, just give me 1176. I'll figure it out. And every single time I'm like, damn, this is not it. Like, it's not even close. It doesn't sound like mine at all. So I think it's becoming I'm understanding its uniqueness and like its power. Yeah. Well, and it's just good for vocal. I haven't, I've used it on other stuff a couple times. I'm like, it's all right. But like for vocal, there's nothing that beats it. So,
That's it.
uh, I don't know. Lots of stuff.
Well, let's just say the Bluey. That's a good answer.
Good answer. Yeah.
So last year was super extremely busy for you. You did a whole world tour, basically. What's this year gonna look like? Where could we see you or not see you if you mix in a separate room again?
Um, uh, there's I'm like the schedule. There's a lot of corporate stuff I have. My artists they're gonna do a bunch of things. Actually can't really talk about a lot of it because I don't know if any of it's announced yet or I don't pay attention. I'm worried about doing the gig, so like I don't do any of that. So, um, but I'll definitely be around. I have a lot of things to do. This year is not going to be as busy as last one. Last one was like record breaking busy, but this one will definitely be top. Like it's still going to remain at the top.
Busy, busy. I'm sure I'll see you at some point along the road. Wow, my
Yeah,
camera just did something weird. I don't know
see you
why.
along the road. I'll see you.
Yeah, these like MacBook cameras, the new MacBooks, they follow you around and sometimes it
No,
just zooms out and in for no reason because I've been sitting in the same spot and not moving for like half an hour. But
it's
yes,
like it needed to move its feet a little bit. Just be like, come on, let's reset ourselves.
yeah, like don't fucking follow me. The funniest thing is when you get up and walk away, it kind of zooms in and follows you.
Nah, I want to be able to make an exit.
Yeah, it's a bit very dramatic. Well, I mean, on that note, it's very dramatic that we have to end this episode now because we've already been talking for half an
I
hour. But
know. Isn't that crazy?
so interesting, and I'm sure because you're someone who loves to chit chat about all of this. If anyone has any questions, how
Always,
can I become Joey Diehl?
oh, don't do that. But I'm always I'm a yapper. I will talk and talk, and that's a problem. And I'm sorry in advance.
No, it's amazing, and I loved having you on here and being my first audio talk guest.
I know you have a lot of friends, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, social butterfly. So we got you here doing some of the biggest pop acts and before that country acts in the
Mhm.
world, and maybe my next guest will be someone who, yeah, works in hardcore just like me and just mixes teeny tiny shows. But that's the beauty of the job because there's such a wide range that you
There is.
can do.
It's such a wide range, and we don't do anything different. We do the
Yeah,
same. Yeah,
like essentially it's the same fucking job that we do.
it really is. Like we can take our files and swap them and be like, yeah, it's fine. It's great.
I would love to have your file and just look at it, but I know you're a Digico guy, so I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I know. I always talk about D Live. I like to quote my friend Norwood, who owns a 1500 too, and he's like, this console sounds way too good for what it cost, and it's never left my head because every time I see it, I go, that's a cheap desk. Why does this sound so good? I kind of hate this. Also, I just saw was that Spearbox tour where it was Periphery and Honey Revenge and Spearbox, and Parker also mixing on a 1500. He had a few pieces of outboard. But I sat in the back for the first like 30 minutes of Spearbox, and I mean even Periphery with Alex and everything. I just sat in the back and I was just like, "What the? This is ridiculous! Like, this is so good. I kind of hate. I'm like gonna go home and like rethink my life. Like this is insane." So
You say it's a cheap console, it's just like a toy console for you, but honestly, for me, it does the job and it is so easy to fly and travel with. That's why I'm also so happy to have it.
well, and for
Yeah.
that form and that size, I don't think there's anything better than that desk. Like it does so much, and it has so many like good sounding things on it for that size and like that price point. It's great. That's what Norwood said. It's like it's insane. No one will ever get close to this. It's like not fair. So yeah,
Yeah, and we're not like advertising anything here on purpose, just like honestly saying I've been using this for a while and I love it and yeah, I'm excited to mix shows on it again. I'm like, I don't
yeah,
even know when. April, 2 months from now.
yeah. No, and I'm excited for you to do that too. Yeah, we're just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going and keep doing shows and keep touching the
Oh,
monster console. Yeah.
okay. Well, thank you so much, Joey. You're in Dublin. You have a show today, so guess you have to go and be busy. I'm on holiday. That's why you have that beautiful sunny background. Yeah, let's call it a day. Cameras zooming in and out again.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a good day. Have
Have a
fun.
good day. Thank you, and goodbye.